see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, get it each.
This is Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Today is January 23rd, 2024. First of all, before I get started, let me definitely dedicate tonight's show to my grandmother, the late, the great Birdie L. English, who passed away on this evening, my grandmother, 9 years ago today. So even though she wasn't super into sports, she would always be proud and supportive of what I had going on. So I love you, Grandma, and I just want to dedicate tonight's show to you. Our sponsors tonight are NK Eyeshadows, which I am wearing both shades. Shout out to Katrina Harris, my makeup artist. You guys, you see them both on the screen. I am surrounded by beauty everywhere. The one and the only Dr. Ixchel Baker Tate, Ravens fan extraordinaire, and the one and only Mrs. Beautiful Stephanie Triplett, the 49ers own. Ladies, welcome to another edition of NESSP at Night with your host, Sonja, and welcome one and all. Hi, ladies.
Hey, Sonja. How are you?
Good. How are you all doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining me. Now, we're going to start one at a time because, y'all, we may be getting a preview at the Super Bowl right here with the fandom right here. And y'all know I had to pull up with my Panthers on, even though we long since out of the game. Let me introduce you to both of my friends. I grew up with both of these ladies from the Robinson County area, Lumberton and Red Springs. Now, Stephanie graduated a year behind me in Red Springs, and Ixchel has been a friend for years and years from Robinson County. I'm going to start with the Ravens and let Dr. Ixchel Baker Tate tell us a little bit about herself.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Ixchel Baker Tate. I have been a sports fan really a football fan since 1983. Started with the U down at the University of Miami. So how did I become a Ravens fan? Quick, and other than living in the DMV right now, but Ray Lewis was my favorite player. Now Lamar Jackson. So that's that hometown. I was born in North Carolina, but raised in the county of Dade. So we are excited this weekend. Ravens tickets are on sale. If you haven't gotten one, get one, because the AFC Championship will be live. But I will say a little something about my Kansas City Chiefs too.
Ooh,
so I got a little
see that coming, girl. We did not see that.
But Derek Thomas, who graduated from the University of Alabama, where my husband went to school, as well as my brother-in-law. So we can't lose in this house this weekend. So we're excited about the game. So I'm just ready to get started and ready to get it cracking this weekend. So,
ma'am, and love the energy, Dr. Tate, and congratulations to either one of those teams. Looks like there's no losers in that house. So, Stephanie, what's up with those Niners? You guys are coming all the way up, looks like, over in the Yay area.
Yes, bang, bang. I am so excited about this game this weekend. I don't know. The Lions were looking pretty good against Tampa. I know they look good against the Eagles, as I predicted. The Tampa did look good against the Eagles, but then I don't know what happened. They got a hard stop at the Lions. So I don't think our game was our best playing this weekend, but I really do think that we're going to play a good game against the Lions because we were missing Debo. It was in the rain. I know that's excuses, but I think we're going to do pretty good against the Lions this weekend.
Oh, that's great. And you guys, remember we talked before the show? Look who has decided to join us. The one, the only, Byron Williams, New York Giant, Green Bay Packer. What's up, Byron?
He's a G-man and a Packer.
I want you guys to meet him.
How y'all
So
doing,
Byron's
ladies?
gonna help me.
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, hope you are too.
I'm so glad to meet some football greats. You know, you guys are football greats. So I heard so much about y'all, but yeah, glad to join you guys.
Thank you, Byron. We look forward to chit-chatting with you and talk a little something today.
Right. Yes, and thank you, Byron. Byron's been traveling everywhere. Thank you, Byron, so much for joining me. You can help me out tonight, brother. I appreciate you. So, so tonight we're doing a little Q&A of Ixchel and Stephanie because they both, as you see, are rooting for who we may see in the Super Bowl. Now, we have so much changing news going on. Like the Panthers got their general manager today, Dan Morgan. So excited about that. He formerly played with the Panthers. Looks like Tepper is kind of bowing out a little bit. So we may be joining y'all soon. Harbaugh still being interviewed. Looks like the Chargers are coming hard for him. Michigan may be saying bye-bye to him if the Chargers are definitely getting their wish. And Belichick has gotten his second interview with the Falcons, and they're still trying to work things out. Now, they are going to be talking to Jim Harbaugh this week as well. But looks like in any case, Harbaugh's coming back to the NFL, and Belichick may be in Atlanta. And the joke is he may be asking for $28.3 million. Y'all get the joke. Y'all get the joke, everybody. 28.3. Okay. But anyway.
Hey, if Jay Gruden can get $100 million, going to give Belichick that 28.5. So
yes. Right. What you say, Byron?
No, I was just saying I should have gotten into coaching. I tell you, I was just
right.
No, but Belichick was with me in New York with the Giants, so I know him. He's a real good guy. I mean, he's a football fanatic, so he grew up from day one that he was going to be this is what he wanted to be, landing in football. So I'm happy for him. I saw him a couple of years ago at the Super Bowl. Probably see him this year at the Super Bowl. So just excited to always talk to him because he's such a great football-minded guy, you know.
Byron is the plug, y'all. I'm telling you, anybody you want to know about in the NFL, he's knowledgeable and he has a personable relationship with them. He's a man of God, so you can't miss out on any of that because he's gonna be the true connection. So if he says it's really happening. So just a blessing to have him on it. Hi, Katrina. That's my makeup artist. Looks like she's checking in saying we all look fabulous. And she also said hi to you, Byron. So shout out to you, Trina. She's the one behind the hair and face every time y'all see me up here.
Yeah,
so
good job.
I couldn't be here without you. That's my girl. That's my sister. And then we have also,
she knows stuff. I tell you that.
And good evening to my sister Erlene in Virginia. All right, y'all. So since everybody's here now, all accounted for, let's start one by one. Now we talked about, let's talk about the NFC. You know, I'm kind of partial to them first. So that's going to be you, Stephanie. Tampa did look like they were formidable. I mean, Byron, did you get a chance to catch any of the game?
Oh, yeah. I watched the whole game. Yeah,
it looked like to me that Tampa may wave right on in, and then they didn't. When looking at how the Lions played them, do you think that the 49ers should be concerned, or if that was more of a confirmation to you all that, hey, the Lions really are not who we thought they were, and as long as Brock Purdy stays consistent with his passes, protects the ball in the pocket, no turnovers and all that good stuff, as well as the defense that we know the 49ers have. What do you think going into the playoffs this weekend, their chances of playing these Lions? Do they send them back to Detroit?
It's going to be hard. It's going to be a test, to be honest with you, because the Deebo Samuel, I don't know if he's going to be healthy, but definitely seems like Detroit's playing with all the right kind of chemistry going. And Dan Campbell got those guys motivated and inspired. And I think, the possibility, the team that played the best error-free football will win this game. You can take away the home field advantage in these playoffs now because it doesn't matter anymore. It's all about whoever can be the most consistent special team, offense, and defense. And then the head coach got to add a lot of value on making those adjustments at halftime. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a good game. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. In fact, it might be an upset.
Uh-oh. Yes, Stephanie, were you worried about that? Were you worried, Stephanie, when
I'm not worried at all.
Tampa was playing?
I'm not worried at all. I think that the best player that's going to be on that whole entire field came from the Panthers. and it's Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
He's got the most talent on the whole
Shout out to
field.
Christian. And I've got my
And
Panthers colors on.
He's gonna run us straight to the Super Bowl.
All right
I
now.
want to say,
And you
Jeff,
know-
you're exactly right. Christian McCaffrey, he's the greatest guy you ever want to see. A complete player, and you know they're gonna have their hand filled. But I'm thinking that they're gonna make some adjustment. Aaron Glenn gonna make some adjustment on defense to kind of help offset some of that. So if they put a good game plan together on the defensive package side, and he's up for some head coaching position, I think you know it's gonna be hard to stop him. But I think it's gonna be like a chess match, and I'm excited to see how they're gonna handle Christian for sure.
And we're gonna get Debo back. I heard today on like in the little mix of 49ers that Debo was gonna play. So
Okay.
that's what
That's
the word
great.
on the street. I don't know how true that is, but
I got one name. I got one name for you, Shanahan, and that to me is the difference. Shanahan, like his father, awesome coach. I think he is going to have them ready. Bang bang Niner game. I truly believe Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to put together the game plan that is going to run them to the Super Bowl. So I am certain that the 49ers are going to do it. I love the Lions, and I know it's been a long time, and we want to root for the underdog, and that's fine. But sometimes experience wins out, and I think Shanahan's going to do it.
So hang on, guys, because I want to know, did somebody give this link out to someone named Cole?
Yeah, I did. It's the guy that
I was like, who is this?
Cole. Hey, I want to bring in another young man.
Hacked, Byron.
Hey, Cole is a guy who I mentored and knows all about football. So he's a young man that I
had to make sure. Hey, Cole.
How's everybody doing?
Say,
how's it going?
We ready.
Yeah, I just got off work. And got the call from Byron, and then we just had a little conversation.
Listen, Cole. All right, thank you for coming up, Byron. You got to let us know because you know
I didn't want to let y'all know. I didn't want to let y'all know.
People be hacking into stuff.
Because let me tell you something. Sonya, let me tell you something. It's just like Debo got that shoulder injury. You never know when you'll get a pop-up. So I'm telling you.
You never know.
Right. All right. Well, ladies, look like it's almost just as many of us as it is them. So Cole, welcome. These are my friends, Ixchel and Stephanie. And I'm Sonya. So welcome. And Byron, thanks for inviting him. So we're going to have a good old time tonight, y'all. Ladies, y'all will be getting a re-invite. Clearly, we got,
we ready. We ready. Look, sometimes we have to do that. We the ladies in the game. So we ready. The game. So
that's right. And my cousin is on. Hello, Echo. And she is saying 49ers against her Ravens, and Ravens win the Super Bowl. Now, Echo is from Red Springs too, but she's always been a Ravens fan. That's my girl. That's my cousin. Shout out to the Aquarius gang as well. That's my daddy's niece. So love you, Echo. Thanks for joining us tonight. And Katrina just said it is a party up in here for real. Like we got the whole. So Debo's coming back, and looks like. And Cole, don't you worry, we'll get a chance to talk to you in a minute because I want to know who you got in this game. Ixchel, the Ravens. Looks like this is the year of Lamar all the way around. He bartered his own contract without an agent. He bet on himself. Even at the draft, they were like, hey, are you sure you don't want to play? I think it was running back. He's like, no, I'm a quarterback. Like he was refusing to call it out. And when you talk about betting on yourself, he is the poster child for I bet on me and Juan, 10 toes down. So he's not arguably the best MVP. Does he wear the crown in the end? The Ravens look unstoppable. We saw what they did to Miami. And Miami going into the season, even halfway through, we thought they were formidable and playoff bound. They left them in shambles. I mean, you almost could see the water boys bringing out Band-Aids today.
I watched them.
Yes. And Katrina says, hey, Cole, and producer Linda's on here saying, what is this so kind of party? And Matt was invited. We didn't know, Linda, that Byron was bringing friends and family, but you guys are more than welcome. If you want me to send you the link, I will pause right now and send it, and we'll just shut the whole Roku down for the night. I love it. So, Ixchel, is this the Ravens' year? Are the Ravens ravishly for real?
Oh, I believe so. I think that once Lamar got the win last week and the fashion that they did it in, I really believe that his confidence has been built. People were tearing him down all year saying, he shouldn't do it by himself. He needs to cave. He needs to do this. And what I love about him, he's doing it his way. Harbaugh certainly has incentive with baby brother becoming a national champion. We ain't gonna talk about that because I'm Roll Tide Roll, so I have a certain thing about Nick Saban, so we won't go there. But I think with the support between the defense, the offense, I think that he has all the pieces that he's needed all along to be successful. I mean, for years, Lamar was running for his life, which seems to be we don't have lines like we need. I think that the Ravens finally have an O-line that is protecting him, letting him be him. Offensive coordinators letting him be him, and he's doing his thing. Now, I will say this, Kansas City on the side. Mahomes is reminding me of Brady when everybody would count Brady out and Mahomes would rise to the occasion, just like Brady did. Now that Brady's out of the league, I feel like Mahomes is taking on that role of being most hated at times. And I do want to set the record straight. Taylor Swift did not start the swag surf. So let's just
okay.
Everybody is sick and tired of seeing her at all the games. I don't really care about that. I just know her last game gonna be on Sunday. So I believe that the Ravens have what it takes to do what they're supposed to do. I have all the confidence in the world in that team, and I think that they are going to send Kansas City home. This is a limping Kansas City team, and I think they're going to limp right on out of Baltimore before the snow comes back again. So we're going to send them back to the tundra.
And Cole, and thanks for that. Cole, did the Bills have this game and they just let it get away?
If you give Pat Mahomes any time, he's going to win. And it's just the rivalry that's going on. Josh hasn't really beat Pat in big time games to go to the Super Bowl. I'm looking at it like Pat hasn't lost a playoff game in like 3 years, so it's hard to really even beat him right now. He's really unbeatable. Like you said, he's most hated. People don't like Pat, what he does, and it's going to be a good matchup too as well. But I think that what it came down to was that 4th and 5 when they went for it, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think Pat Mahomes, that was just it was a good game, 27-24, I believe, 3-point game.
Very close.
Very close game. It came down to the wire, but I believe it was Pat Mahomes versus Pat Mahomes. It's hard to beat him in the playoffs.
Byron, what happened to Tampa Bay?
He's from East Texas, so he's from the neck of the woods where I grew up, so it's just going to get hard to beat a man over there from East Texas. I can tell you that.
Well, I'm gonna ask you, Byron, what happened to Tampa Bay? Did they even have a chance against the Lions?
I think they had an average chance, but overall, I think they missed some opportunities. I thought it was late connecting with the wide receivers. Mike Evans and those guys are awesome. I think they got a good set of wide receivers, but hats off to Baker Mayfield for what he did and what he brought to the team. I just think they defenses always have played good in Tampa, but I just think sometimes it's the other team year, and so I think it's Detroit time to advance to that next level. And I still think Tampa Bay got to still find some pieces to plug, but yeah, it was a good game. And the good thing about it, it was a competitive game. It wasn't like a washout or anything like that. So that was a good thing to watch and see. But I'm mostly happy I tell everybody, when I usually look at the coaches, I look at the offense, the defense, the special team, but mainly the defense is what you have to look at going into the playoffs.
Yeah. You really do have to do that. And so Stephanie, since we know that, Brock Purdy has also been in MVP contentions. He's been compared to Lamar off and on this entire season with the style of play and everything. This matchup will certainly not disappoint. Do you think the game will be close?
Going against Lamar Jackson in San Francisco in a Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bet on my team, but I'd rather face the Kansas City Chiefs.
Do you think?
Now, because we've
as-
seen them in a Super Bowl, we know, how they're playing, what they're bringing. And to me, it's like Kansas City Chiefs, that's my husband's team, but they're kind of limping right now. And then you have, it just seems to me like Travis Kelce has been a little distracted and hasn't played his best year. So he, you're used to seeing him being like the game changer, like everything. But then I don't know if they can handle Lamar, because if they try to blitz on him, like, you're just gonna give him a free run to the end zone. Like, how are they gonna control him? How are they gonna contain him? Like, I don't think they have anybody, maybe Pacheco, but I just think Lamar is like, he's playing his best ball right now. Like last year, he sat down until they finally paid him. And then when they finally paid him, it was like, and I know he was hurt, I guess, but I think he was sitting down to get paid. And
so I kind of got it.
They didn't even make it to. They didn't even make it to the playoffs without him.
Yeah. So I got a little ahead. That was my next question. My bad. I got a little ahead. My mental there. I wanted to ask you, Dan Campbell and the Lions, because that's you all's next matchup. Dan Campbell and the Lions have been waiting for, the Lions have been waiting for 30 years. Their first championship was in 1957, before it was even the Super Bowl per se, that they got a championship. They won their divisional, the first one in 1992 and the second one in 1993, my senior year of high school. They have not won in over 30 years. The Lions are hungry. And we've all seen the clips of Dan Campbell in the locker room or talking to his team, and the hype is real. I always tell people sometimes it becomes beyond physicality and it becomes the mental. When the mental is above the physicality, sometimes it's enough to bring that team up to supersede what other people thought. Without Christian McCaffrey's contribution to the game and Debo coming back, who else is there that you all can rely on to definitely, because they're going to wear him out. We've seen Carolina wear out Christian McCaffrey. He cannot carry the team the entire game. Who else is there that the 49ers can bet on to make sure that they get this win?
George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams. Like, there's so many. They have so much on their team. Like, with Debo being added to the mix, like, I mean, Juwan Jennings just caught like this ball on the weekend, and they have so many, like, there's so many guys on that team that can bring this win home. Like, it's hard to think that they won't win this game, to me.
And the 49ers are.
And then they're still kind of sore from last year, not having a chance to win because their quarterback.
That's what I was about to talk about.
Was gone. Yep. I mean, I sat here last year on this game and watched Christian McCaffrey try to throw the ball as a quarterback. I was like,
yes, that was painful to watch.
This is so bad. And I don't think they're going to mess this up. I just don't think they're going to, because it took so much to get back here after that loss last year. I think they're going to bring it. And if the Lions do beat them, it's because they're going to get really grimy and bring everything they have. But I just don't think with a team that's 49ers are going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, and Ixchel, when we look at the Ravens, what is their biggest issue with playing Kansas City besides Patrick Mahomes? As if that's not enough.
I think to me, it's more mental than anything else. I don't think Lamar has anything to worry about. I think when we talk about matchups from offense, defense to special teams, the Raven has everything. They're number one. That's why they were number one, without a doubt. Kansas City limped into this, not because they weren't good, but they had problems all season. I mean, they just were not connecting. Like she said, it seemed like Kelce was distracted. The defense was giving up big plays. There were quite a few cornerbacks over there that seemed like toast, regularly getting burnt up and down the field. So I don't feel like that corrects itself just because you're in the game. Now, for this game, if it's close and it's coming down to who has the ball last, it's going to need to be Lamar. When it comes to, if you're talking about field goals versus touchdown, I think mentally the Ravens have to get past the fact that they are the Kansas City Chiefs. They need to treat them like anybody else and say, we're in it to win it and we're trying to go to the Super Bowl. They can't look to the Super Bowl looking at the next opponent, but at the same time, they need to be like, hey, we're in this. Lamar got this. He's got to have that confidence and not listen to what all the naysayers say, you know, kind of like what Bama was saying all year. Let all naysayers know. He needs to adopt that mantra and like, hey, I can do this. And I think as long as the defense doesn't let them down, it isn't a situation where they're very close and one, you know, series is going to change that or win it. I think he'll be fine. So as long as the ball ends up in their hands, I think they're fine. I think it would be more mental. I think that's what they have to overcome and nothing more. They have a complete team. There's no reason why this team shouldn't be in the Super Bowl unless they let this get in the way. So other than that, I think they'll be fine. I don't think he has anything to worry about.
I agree.
Byron, you played in several games, hundreds of games. They always have the adage defense wins championship.
Mm-hmm.
With two almost comparable teams on both sides of the field matching up, how do we as fans that have not played in the game differentiate, okay, this person should win or should not win besides the luck? What's your opinion on that as a player?
I think the key factor this week is game preparation. You know, just getting the mental reps in, the way the coaches making sure these players stay focused and not, you know, sometimes you get all these distractions and calls and things like that. I think once, you know, I like all the coaches, all these coaches that's up to this point now gonna get that team prepared. I think the best prepared team that will show, and I think too, it's gonna come down to the quarterbacks, the decision making, things like that, mental mistakes, stupid penalties, those things you have to eliminate, and the players with the right mindset and the best prepared team will be ready, you know, to conquer the task at hand. And I just think too, you can't let a whole lot of people be calling you all week, getting kind of distracted you. I think those are the little things that sometimes we don't understand and don't see. But I just think too, the head coach that can control the way the players are handling all the decision making throughout the week, eliminating the mistakes, that's gonna be the key factor.
Cole, there's been a lot of hype around this game. I know you've heard it. You can't even turn on the broadcast. The Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson matchup is literally, if it could be possible, they would love to see it in the Super Bowl itself, but it's impossible because they're in the same division. What are your thoughts on these two powerhouses? The greatness, like people are literally seeing Lamar come into his own and comparing him to Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes already been compared to Tom Brady. What are your thoughts? Is this going to be one of the best games we've seen this season?
I believe so. Like Dr. Tate said, the Ravens are the most complete team in the NFL. But have the league MVP Lamar Jackson playing this weekend against the former MVP, two-time Super Bowl champ Pat Mahomes. They're the most complete team. I just hope that it's hard. Like I said earlier, it's hard to beat Pat Mahomes in the playoffs, and people kind of forget that this same defense, Chiefs defense, won the Super Bowl last year. Like almost everybody on that defense is the same team that won the Super Bowl last year. I mean, they have that experience that I think people aren't really thinking about. And it's just, and Pat Mahomes, when it comes to playoffs and Pat Mahomes, it's just hard to beat him. I believe in Lamar. Lamar is the MVP. He's playing his butt. I think they're the most complete team. He is the best player this year, and he's been unstoppable. He's been consistent too every week. He's the most consistent quarterback this year. It's playoff time. We got to see. He has a 1-2-3 playoff record, I believe now. He's won 2 playoffs. He's proven himself this year. Hold on. What's going on?
You're still there.
I'm there. My computer just went crazy. But
we still see it.
Yeah. It's but yeah, he's been the most complete quarterback this year, but it's crunch time right now. It's playoff football. And we got to see, like, the baby who's going to not going to make the baby mistake, who's going to come with the most mental toughness. And I believe I can see the Ravens win it, but it's hard for me to bet against Pat Mahomes. That's my thoughts.
Well, I do
It's
want to say
definitely
this.
hard.
I do want to say this. The second half, I mean, you just have to give it to the Ravens. I mean, they have been playing lights out second half. And if they do that again this week, you might well stick a fork in Kansas City.
Yeah. And the second half is the most important half because that's usually the time when teams are exhausted. We've seen and we're like, wait a minute. It literally looked like to me in the Tampa game, at least, that they just were like, we're tired. It wasn't like they just started making really, really bad mistakes. You know, there were a couple, but there was no, y'all, we all watched the game. There was no flags. And the announcers were like, yeah, I agree. There should be a flag. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I didn't see no pass interference. Byron, I have to defer to you on this question. Is the league changing the rules about how many pass interference flags they're throwing out? They've got to be, at least in the playoffs, right?
No, we talk about this all the time with the NFLPA, you know, the rule committees and the players making these decisions. But we had talked about trying to come up with a factor, a situation where these referees don't make these stupid, obvious calls and things like that, messing up the game. So we had talked about ex-players becoming referees. So they're putting some variables into the game plan and the future game plan down the road to make sure we get better quality referees. But also, you know, we do have these extra cameras on the field now. So you really you mostly can see everything that's going on. I think what's getting better is the instant replay and how quickly they can make the decisions on all the particular calls that's out there on the football field.
But I'm going to be honest, sometimes the instant replay just takes the thrill out of it. I mean, they're taking 5 to 10 extra minutes. You're thinking this game should be over so you can go on. Sometimes it goes into the next game. And also, some things it reveals that we as fans are like, oh my gosh, I never saw that. Or there's no way that was not a catch. That's probably the next thing. In addition to the pass interference, it's the no catch rule. So I'm sure that if you all implement it at the Players Association, which Byron is, I think you're the vice president of them, right, Byron?
I'm the president of the Dallas chapter. I was on the board.
President of the.
I was on the board with Priest Holmes and for the last 6 years. So I've been sitting in a lot of meetings, just hearing all the things. And what people don't realize, we now have 4 reps per team. We used to have 2, 3, but now they up to 4 reps per team. So they're getting better on the engagement and players making these decisions and having these committees set up to make the game better and safer. But yeah, it's good to be in those meetings because it's a lot goes on. We having a meeting in March the 8th through the 11th over in Phoenix for the players NFLPA committees, and that's the stuff that they do behind the scenes. But yeah, the game is so much better, Doc. And just thanks to all you guys making the comments and seeing the game the way the game should be played and the expectation on how we need to look at this game because it's the greatest game on earth.
It is. And so Echo says with that, and thanks, Byron, because they definitely need to do that, especially when you're talking about my team didn't have a catch, but I know they did, and then we lose.
But it's all the control. You know, I had my football.
It's control all the way through, 2 feet down, slide and cross. Come on now.
No bobbles. I can't.
That's
bobble.
right.
No
I
bobbles.
do this. None of this.
No bobbles.
And it's like, so if I catch it right here and I fall and it falls out, it's not a catch.
It depends on where you fall.
It
depends on where you fell, but you have to hold the ball all the way through to the end. So you cannot come out of that.
And that new rule, if you fumble and it goes through the end zone and it's automatically turned over to the other team, to me, I was like, oh my goodness.
That's always
no matter what down it is. That's crazy.
No, it depends. If you broke the plane first,
well,
then
broke
it's a
the plane
touchdown.
first.
But if you did not, if you lost control before you broke the plane, yes, it goes to the other team, and rightfully it should.
And if the ball is moving, it's always if the ball is moving and if you have control of the ball.
It's got to be still. It's got to be. It can't.
It's something, y'all. That's why I have all y'all on here to help me out. So thank you. So Echo says the Ravens they don't have the same team from last year. They went hard in the draft to fill a lot of holes. And this Ravens team is very different, and it's going to take a lot for the Chiefs to stop them. What are y'all's thoughts? Anybody that wants to chime in?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, on paper and what we've seen on the field thus far, that should be correct. But we know that the game is not just comprised of those things. It's not what you did last week. It's what you're doing this week. So I think in terms of that, again, we're talking about mental toughness is going to play. Conditions are going to be fine in Baltimore on Sunday. It's going to be 47 degrees. That's good for both teams. It's good for Baltimore because we don't do the tundra here. I had a heart attack with the snowstorm last week. So this is not our thing. Kansas City is used to playing that. Andy Reid don't mind his mustache being frozen and all that kind of stuff. So that's not going to be a factor. They've got the best conditions as if they're playing a sunny game on Sunday. So it's do or die. It's not what he did last week. He's got to be able to say, I'm here to conduct business. This is a game. I am trying to go to the next game. And if he doesn't do that, if they don't do that, and you let the fact that Patrick Mahomes is on the other side, what you've done all year, who cares if you're 15-1 if you don't win that one? Who cares when the Patriots went undefeated in the regular season, but you lost to who? The G-Men in the Super Bowl. Who cared that you went undefeated? And no one cares because you didn't win the big one. So none of that matters, and that's why my Dolphins still got their undefeated season.
That's Don Shula era.
Don Shula and my Dolphins.
And Ixchel, you remember we had some Miami fans jumping on the Panthers bandwagon when we were 15-0 at the point, and then we lost to the Falcons of all people that live here, but we still was like, oh, we're gonna win the Super Bowl. The record was shattered. Like people were trying to really become honorary Pantherette to be part of our crew because Ixchel knows that I started the Carolina Pantherettes fan group. We have about
I was one of the original members with her.
Yes, one of the original members. But since Cam's exodus, now we're down to about 8,000. But still, we got enough.
Let me get on that bandwagon or what?
Yes, not that many fans, but So Stephanie, what happened? I know you are a 49ers fan and through, but I know you had to see Josh Allen in those last moments of that game. Everybody saw it. I literally feel like Bills Mafia should have been here and not Patrick Mahomes. I know Cole says never bet against them, but in my mind, I was betting. I mean, you can watch my previous episodes. I just still had the Bills. I felt like this was their time. I feel like, they wanted it. And I feel like with the exception of that last era, they would have had a game. But however, they always say if you play the entire game, you don't have to worry about that last mistake that cost you the entire game. What are your thoughts about that Bills game? What happened to poor Josh?
Well, I'm going to kind of quote what Fred Warner said. He said, the best team doesn't always win the Super Bowl or the playoff game simply because we don't have series like in other sports and basketball and baseball, even hockey, they have like a series. So the best team is definitely going to win. But in football, it's like you win this game or you go home. And you just got to play your best ball for that 3 hours. And when Fred Warner said that, I'm like, that's true, because then you have all these conditions, like weather conditions at different stadiums where they don't have domes. I think it should be equal across the board where they have like dome stadiums. Everybody has the same chance. Like you're not playing in the slippery, wet, or 10 inches of snow, or I just feel like it should be the same across the board. So you don't by chance because of the weather get knocked out or you can't play your best ball, because I just think Josh Allen, I mean, the guy did miss the field goal, but that wasn't the hard. I mean, we've lost the whole game because Moody missed a field goal, right? But I don't think that should be there. He didn't play his best the 3 hours he was there. Not that they weren't the better team, because I definitely think that they were the better team this year.
Look, we pay the kicker to kick balls. That's his job.
That's right.
That's to kick. That's his job. That's it. He got one job, and that's the kick.
Oh, I was so mad
to say whether Josh played good or not, Josh put them in a position to win.
That's right.
It was the kicker's responsibility to tie the game to go to overtime or whatever the case may be. He got one job.
Hate it.
That's right.
So
He put the whole game on his back. And when that happened,
I put you in a position.
I hated it. We see it all the time. We've seen it in years past. We saw when the Vikings had the miracle where they, you know, it kills me when these teams go down to the last few seconds in regular season and go ahead and run up there to spike it and go ahead and do the field goal so y'all can win by 1 or 2 points. That really, now unless it's the Panthers, of course, that really gets on my nerves because I'll be like, why y'all doing this? Like the first person I remember ever seeing that was freaking Drew Brees. And I'm a Drew Brees fan, but he was notorious for doing that. Like it's almost like it's kind of like akin to the tush push that the Eagles have started. That's Drew Brees' 3-down rule type. And so it's just crazy. So now we got a comment here. Hold on, let's see. Now this is Dolphins Troy, another homie from Red Springs. Great show tonight. I totally agree with Echo Miguel. No disrespect to Kansas City or Detroit. And thanks for your comment, Dolphins. I believe that San Fran will meet Baltimore in the Super Bowl and Baltimore will deliver. I don't see Brock Purdy outplaying Lamar. And I don't see San Francisco's defense slowing down the Baltimore offense enough. Now, if for some reason the game is tight, the wild card named Justin Tucker is automatic from 33, 43, 53, and I believe 63. Baltimore Ravens wins. What a comment, Dolphins.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. What a comment. Byron, I will let you address that because that is a big comment. I'm going to leave it to the professionals on that one. Thanks for that
Mr.
comment.
Troy, me and you on the same page. I'm predicting that as well. I just think, you know, you definitely, it might come down to that kick. And Justin Tucker has been around for so many years. And it's just sometimes it's just Lamar Jackson. It's his year. That's number 2. I can see exactly that happen. That's why I'm so excited to be in Las Vegas that weekend because I do think I think it's gonna happen that way. So kudos to you for putting all that in the write up. And I agree with that. I agree with that. So if I was a betting man, that's the way I would bet it as well.
And Dolphins is a Commanders fan. So Dolphins, let us know if you got anybody up on the hook for a coach since Rivera's left. And thank you for the comment and for tuning in. And make sure you catch me anytime you see the live button. Just come on it and feel free to comment. Now, looks like Echo has a response to that. I agree. Everyone should have the same domes across the board. Example, Houston is good, but they aren't built for the weather. We had here, no matter how much practice they put in, the weather took a toll in that game, and the Ravens are accustomed to it. Now, Ford Field to me is the classic example. Ford Field is in the middle of Detroit, the most inclement weather area, but they protect you. You go up there, and it was probably 65 degrees in that stadium. Some people had on tank tops. I mean, people at the Bills game where it was snowing had no shirts on, so I guess that's no indicator. But that's because, you know, they were full of all the booze and the hype, I guess. So it kept them warm. But Cole, what are your thoughts on all of that? The Dolphins just said, we all feel like us as non-players, like the weather would be an indicator. I mean, the Panthers have an outdoor stadium in Charlotte. And I remember a few years ago when we went to the playoffs, we were out there with heating lamps at the tailgate because it was extreme. I had on like 4 coats. It was extremely cold. Right. But we were just happy to be there. Does the weather play a part in? And honestly, it ain't gonna play no parts coming up this week though, because everything
usually. I believe it does. So like good defenses usually play better in cold weather and big running backs and big running backs. Like when it gets cold, you want to have like a running back like Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, the big guys that no one wants to tackle in 7-degree weather. Right? It's just a different atmosphere. But yeah, it's easier. It's even in playing field. It's to play when you're in a dome. It's easier. The kickers aren't going to miss most likely. You're going to have it's just not everybody's going to. There's not going to be fumbles like there was in that Pittsburgh game. A couple weeks ago, the Pittsburgh fumbled, I believe, 3 times. The tight end Pickens, and it was ridiculous. And that's why Josh Allen was able to take over in that game because he was running. They ran the ball the whole time, big 52-yard run. And
Yeah,
it's
big
just
run.
the bigger players, like the bigger, stronger players in the cold. Like the Steelers defense usually is good in the cold, but they're injured. Watt wasn't there. Bengals are usually good in the cold. Like the good defenses in the cold are they're in the cold because what am I trying to say? The bigger you are,
Most physical, the most physical.
most physical,
most physical. They need to be. It helps them
physical
compete.
team do better in the cold. Like Green Bay usually has a good defense in the cold. It's they're more strong. I feel like the players have to do that. Their defenses are usually
except for Floridians.
Right.
Because the Dolphins have never played well.
But they have that thing
good in the cold.
And that's why when the Dolphins went to Kansas City, 15 of them had to go to the hospital for hypothermia after that Chiefs Dolphins game. It was noted they went to the hospital and was treated, but it's probably the ones we saw with no shirts on at all. Let's be clear.
Right. No, they're used to it because they used to run around with no shorts and no shirts on. But I will say, Byron, you guys have got to address that cold issue because at what point should the game have been called? The same way the Bills game was moved. At what point should that game have been called? Because you are putting people's lives at risk, not just the fans. I'm not talking about the fans, but I'm talking about the players themselves. I mean, we had the same issue with concussion protocol with Tua, and him out there still playing and being relieved when he shouldn't have played at all. I mean, there are things that, people aren't built like they used to. They're not built like our mamas and daddies and grandma and grandpas were, where, they were built to last. We're not built
playing
like
with
that.
no pads either.
He's screaming and carrying on. So it's different than what it used to be. These kids are a little bit privileged. They're a little different. I think that's why the offensive lines, we're not breeding 350-pound linemen like we used to. It's just not the same. So
unless you're from UGA, they got them.
Yeah, they got the NIL has helped.
Yes,
but you know what? That's really good. That's a really good point. I mean, you're a point on. I think the game has changed, the body structure and the mass and the muscle mass have changed on these players so much faster. I tell everybody, if you ever have a chance to stand on the sideline and watch a game live, you really can appreciate the game even more because of the speed of the game and the size of those athletes. And you're absolutely right. And that's why we meet every year and they have these panel discussion, committee discussion. And, they even have players on the assignment to come in and make sure these players are dressed properly. But some of them just don't want the pads on no more. They just dress differently because they feel like they have to be faster and quicker and make things happen out there on that football field. But you're exactly right. That need to be addressed a little bit more, and just to make sure the safety of the game is intact.
Well, that's also a good point because you think about it, they changed the helmets over because of concussion protocols. But at the end of the day, these people are adults. And if you got people out there that's trying to make sure they're dressing appropriately and they're still like over there taking off whatever, at what point are you able to even intervene with the exception to say, okay, you're not playing because you're not appropriately dressed. You're not in uniform would be my only thing that maybe they could do that. Hey, you're not in pads, then you're not playing because you're not in uniform. We saw that sometimes players are cited for improperly dressing where they would have different colors or what have you. And I guess that would be the same thing going on that. Now, guys, we're having such a good conversation, but we are at a quarter to the hour, a little bit past. So we got to switch gears here just a little bit so I can fit it all in because there's so many of us. The coaching carousel that has gone on, it seems like every couple of days we're hearing about a coordinator or a head coach being fired. Looks like Nick Sirianni is safe for now. Go figure, they brought in Frank Wright, who was fired from the Panthers, to come in and consult with Sirianni. They haven't officially hired him yet, but they're possibly going to be hiring him as an offensive coordinator. He used to work with that organization, but they have relieved their defensive coordinator from the Eagles right now. So they're looking for one, and the word of the day for that is possibly Ron Rivera, who was the former Commanders coach. We know that Jim Harbaugh has been interviewing a couple times here and there throughout. He even has an upcoming interview with the Atlanta Falcons this Thursday. Bill Belichick just wrapped up his second interview with the Falcons, and so he's waiting for a follow-up. In fact, they met so long and lengthy. They were actually talking about the intricacies of the team as a whole, which means general manager type stuff. Because you guys know Belichick, if he gets hired, he's not just going to be out there as a coach. He's going to be very involved from what everyone is saying. So we still have some people looking for coaching positions. I heard that I can't think of his name. From Cincinnati was hired for the Tennessee Titans. Bill something. He was hired with them. So with it, notwithstanding Tennessee, we still have Carolina, who hired their general manager Dan Morgan today, who formerly was a player number 5-5. So he's back. But we still need a coach. Washington still needs a coach. The Chargers are still needing a coach, even though they're leaning towards Harbaugh and basically saying they're willing to pay him whatever. What are your thoughts? And Anthony, thank you so much for commenting. Anthony co-host
Philly is in trouble,
y'all. G-Man, Philly is in trouble. And he knows Anthony's going to be running my show on February 1st because I'm going to be out on vacation for my birthday, y'all. 2424. But and Anthony was on with me the last couple of episodes and really a good football head from college and NFL perspective, a G-Man himself. But he just said Philly is in trouble, and he's right. But all of you, we got about 9 minutes left. I'm not going to call on you individuals. Just feel free to chime in. What are your thoughts on the coaching carousel? Who goes where?
Well, first of all, I don't know why McCarthy was kept at the Cowboys. Sirianni has his issues in Philly because I don't know what happened between last year and this year, but that was not the same team. That is not the Super Bowl team. That was not Jalen Hurts playing his best ball. That was none of that. I guess for me,
excuse me, Ixchel, real quick. Let me plug in right there. There is an inside issue in the locker room that's not related to Sirianni or to the administration of the Eagles. It's something internal between the players is what's been out there right now.
But if that is the case, as a coach, you're supposed to be the leader and set the tone. And I realize that they're grown men, but at some point there has to be accountability and responsibility that either the player goes or you go. It's one of the two. But I guess when I see all of these coaches being interviewed, et cetera, my question, and really, Byron, this is for you, where are the African-American coaches? Bieniemy left Kansas City to go over to the Commanders for a lateral move, basically. Where is he as far as getting a job, and why hasn't he gotten one? There are other coaches that are they created this program for them to go through, but yet they're not being even interviewed or selected. The whole thing with Flores, Mike Tomlin is safe for now. What is really happening with the talent? And, Belichick is like, again, why are we picking older coaches when there are younger coaches in the pipeline and not giving them an opportunity? And as far as the Panthers go, it's the owner. That is the equivalent of Dan Snyder over at the Panthers. So until y'all get rid of the owner, nothing's going to change. You can say what you want to say about the last one, but
we know.
I'm not condoning what he did or didn't do.
We know.
But he was a compassionate person. And so I think it has a lot to do with ownership. But also, are we committed to breeding the right talent? I'm not saying they got to be African-American. I'm just not seeing where those names are even being bandied about. Why is Eric Bieniemy still kind of stuck, whatever they're going to do with him at the Commanders? There is talent out there. There are offensive and defensive minds out there, and it's not happening. That's all I'm saying. And so, honestly, we will keep mediocrity. Right. When there's other talent out there that could, Milwaukee just fired somebody and he had a winning record.
Yeah,
okay.
Like
the defense ain't working. Well, the season ain't over yet. You didn't give him a chance to fail. At some point, can we get failure first before we start making moves?
But
that's just me. So that's
I want to say this, and sometimes it's the good old boy network, and I'm glad they do have the Rooney Rule in, that they have to interview so many players. But Bieniemy, I heard too that the Kansas City Chiefs wanted him really bad to come back to Kansas City during the season, but they didn't have they wouldn't let that happen. The Washington team to let that happen. So you hear rumors all the time that's going back and forth. But a lot of these guys get jobs because they're friends of the head coach or they're friends of the general manager, which is crazy. But that's the beast of the game. But I think now with these contracts for these coaches, they get guaranteed contracts, whether they play coach 1 year or 2 year. After 4 or 5 years, they're still gonna get that money. So that's another thing that's happened, and I think that's really made the game kind of not good. But yet, it's not no accountability in the coaching system as well. So there's a lot of problems still and concerns that I think need to be addressed, but it's not happening right now.
Wasn't there an incentive if you hired a a minority coach, because I know San Francisco put out D'Amico Ryans. They sent over the Dolphins coach. We got picks for those coaches. So I think to hire a minority coach, you get an incentive if you send a minority coach to another team. So there is an incentive program for it. I just don't know why it's not being used.
Yeah, they found a way around the Rooney Rule. Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
Thank you, Willie, for your comment.
Anytime they put a rule in, they always find a way to get around those rules. Absolutely.
Cole, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like Byron said, it's the relationships and the network, because a lot of the head coaches are all friends, or they coach with each other on a different team. And then it's just a relationship building. And if you're not in with that relationship or that group of people, I mean, because like Bill Belichick and Nick Saban used to coach on the same team on the Browns together, right?
That's right.
You know,
Yep.
They had Shanahan and
His daddy.
His pop,
Yeah.
as well as the Grudens, the
Right.
Gruden
Grudens,
family,
right, yeah.
a
lot of family there.
Yeah, so it's just the net. I believe it's the network, and then there's every now and then, but I just think possibly it's the network and who you know, and they've built the relationships and trust with
But not to cut you off, but last year Anthony Lynn came here to Dallas and I helped him do his event, and he did a great job with the Chargers, but they let him go. So,
exactly.
And he's coaching running back for the 49ers. But my point is, it's a lot of good coaches still they won't let them stay 3 to 4 years. And I think if you don't let the guys stay 3 to 4 years, then how can you evaluate them? How can you do a good job? Because there's so much in the equation with the players getting hurt and movement of the players and things like that.
Yep. Steve Wilkes. Is it Steve Wilkes?
Right. With the 40, we got him from the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They got him and Christian McCaffrey from the Panthers for a package deal.
I love him.
What we get?
That was so amazing.
We got 2 wins. I should have wore my McCaffrey jersey tonight. I didn't think about it.
I'm a Saints fan, by the way.
Play.
Oh
my!
Hey, then you wear your Ingram jersey.
Not or Camara. I got the Camara one.
And hi, CJ. That's another one of my hosts on there. CJ D. Simone. He's the painkiller. He has his nice show that comes on NESSP network. Y'all, this has been real. So real quick, the games. We're gonna do a quick pick. I know you all want to bet on your own team, but realistically, who you got? And since Cole and I and Byron are not fans of either of the teams, we're gonna be non-judgmental and non-swayed and do our picks. I'll do mine last. We got about 1 minute. You guys go.
For our game this weekend, Ravens and Chiefs, I'm going with Baltimore 27-24.
All right. That's Baltimore 27-24 for that game. And Stephanie?
Oh, I'm definitely going. I think it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes. I have to say that because last year I remember his Travis Kelce, you all bet against me, we won. Yeah, yeah, he said you did. Remember that rant he said on national TV? And yeah, I was the one that bet against them last year. I really thought the Eagles were going to do it, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna take out Lamar. I wish they would, so we wouldn't have to face them in the Super Bowl. But if we make it to Super Bowl, which I think we're going to, I'd rather face the Chiefs than Lamar Jackson. But I think Lamar's gonna take that one.
All right, Cole and Byron, we literally have about 30 seconds, y'all.
I agree. I think it's gonna be Baltimore and Detroit going to the Super Bowl.
Upset City.
All right.
28-25 Chiefs. 28-25
What
Chiefs.
was your score, Cole?
28-25 Chiefs.
Okay.
And I too, I think it's going to be Baltimore and the Lions myself going to the Super Bowl as well. Y'all, it's been amazing. Feel free to hang on after we wrap up here. Thank you everyone that's tuned in tonight. Great commentary. I'll be back on here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. with the special host, Chris Pompey, out of the Northeastern area. He's also got a couple of radio shows. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, Cole. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Ixchel. I'm your host, Sonja Pearson. Everybody be safe, stay warm. And this has been an amazing, amazing night. Good luck to your team. And we are going to sound off for now, but we will see you all next time. And good night.
This is Northeast Streaming Sports.